Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, to another episode of Hollywood Backlot with Lew and you. My name is VashSky. I'm your host of today's ceremonies, and with me, to my right, I do believe I got. It's my left, your right. Can never get that right. It is
what's black and white and red all over? That's the question. Yes, the newspaper.
That's interesting. Oh, okay. That's true. That's true. I was going to say the James Bond intro, but maybe that's not
an old joke. And so am I. And so say all of us.
Well, the amazing Lew Wasserman's Ghost has graced us with his presence from beyond. Lew, how are you doing today, sir?
Beyond where? That's the question. Beyond the blue horizon. Beyond Thunderdome.
Yes, yes, indeed, right? Well, this has been a very interesting week. Filled
Aren't
with...
they all? I tell you, just when you think we're going to have a slow news week, something happens. Something happens. Or it doesn't happen, as in the case of the Peepaw Energy machine.
Yes, I believe you're talking about the Fantastic Four. It has made its official debut here.
These people who keep harping on the production budget that's like saying, I don't know. It's so irrelevant. It's so irrelevant.
Are they trying to, dissuade this idea that, hey, this thing didn't make a profit? That seems to me what that is all about. But Culture Crave includes the $200 million production budget. We know that these reported budgets, slightly different than what the actuals were.
Well, that's some factotum at the studio saying, well, I said it was only going to be. If you told me it was really going to cost $400 million, I wouldn't have said make it. But anyway.
Indeed. Well, apparently at the worldwide box office, not doing particularly well, especially in its in the region of China, in which MCU films used to be very profitable in. There you go from that Park Place. Fantastic Four box office dips 42% on Saturday, showing signs of front-loading and diminishing MCU momentum. This July 27th, 2025, by Marvin Montanaro. The Access Media may be painting a rosy picture of Disney Marvel's new Fantastic Four movie, but the Saturday box office slide could be concerning for the House of Mouse. In a summer dominated by superhero spectacles, Marvel Studios' The Fantastic Four First Steps arrived in theaters on July 25th amid high expectations for a franchise reboot. Directed by Max Schachman and starring Pedro Pascal, Vanessa Kirby, Joseph Quinn, and Evan Moss Bachrach, I believe. Bachrach. Guys, there you go.
Do you know the way to San Jose, Fantastic Four? Burt Bacharach.
Yeah, exactly. Bachrach. I completely screwed it up. I do apologize about that, Evan. As Marvel's first family, the film aimed to revitalize the property after previous iterations faltered. However, early box office data revealed a mixed picture, a solid but underwhelming domestic opening, marred by a sharp internal weekend decline, suggesting that initial fan enthusiasm may not translate to a broader, sustained appeal.
It used to take at least the whole first weekend for the word of mouth on a stinker to get out. But somehow we're traveling at the speed of the Silver Surfer here. To let everybody know that they should find something else to do with their Sunday, like be here for us, right?
Exactly, right? I believe in the movie they call it FTL, or Faster Than Light. Yes, I think Silver Surfer is faster.
FTL.
The Fantastic Four First Steps kicked off with a $24.4 million from Thursday previews, the highest such figure of 2025, just edging out DC's Superman at $22.5 million. This propelled Friday's total, including previews, to $57 million, marking the second highest opening day of the year behind a Minecraft movie at $57.1 million. Initial projections hovered around 120 to 125 for the 3-day domestic opening, with some insiders optimistic about surpassing Superman's $125 million debut. Yet, Saturday brought a reality check. Earnings dipped to $33.2 million, a 42% drop from Friday's non-preview adjusted haul. And this decline is notably steeper than recent superhero comparables, such as Superman's 33% drop, Deadpool and Wolverine's 36%, Captain America Brave New World 32%, and Thunderbolts 22%. Sunday estimates came in at 27.8 million. It projected a 16% ease from Saturday, pushing the domestic total to around $118 million, below the high end of forecasts and short of pre-release hype that pegged it at $125 to $135 million. This front-loaded pattern, where opening day is inflated by diehard fans but subsequent days falter, highlights a potential erosion in casual audience turnout, something that once propelled Marvel projects. As one analyst noted on X, the MCU has seen increasing front-loaded post-lockdowns, with first steps representing a new peak in this trend, indicating brand fatigue among general viewers. Lew, your thoughts on this?
When I see these people that are supposedly analysts, whoever the heck Luis Fernando is, it says, hopefully next week we could be better and stronger. What do you care? If you're an analysis person, it should be I report the facts. But why do I hope? Golly, I guess I'm on the other team, huh? Not the audience's team, but the producer's team. I think we don't have a dog in this race, unless you're a stockholder, in which case heaven help you.
Paging.
Have you ever heard of an actor? The last time I heard an actor say, well, I don't like how I look without the mustache, so I'm not shaving it, was Cesar Romero playing the Joker, and they would paint it out with white, but couldn't do that with Beatbot. Anyway.
That is very true.
This thing, obviously, as I said, I was joking, but I'm not. People said, I think I have something better to do on Sunday. I don't think I'll go after all. And that brings up an interesting factor. We have been talking for these many months about the big screen factor. And indeed, I just had an article go up on That Part Place about how they're going to fill up these giant IMAX and other screens when there isn't a hit movie to come in, and the whole timing the releases and one bumping into the other and bumping them out of the high price spread. And now those higher price tickets are part of the big box office. I wonder how many people said, I've heard kind of 50-50 about this. Maybe when I get to the actual ticket window and I have a choice of a $12 or $15 ticket or a $25 ticket, I'd rather, the money is probably better spent putting it into the popcorn bucket and having that to sell on eBay in a year than it is my weekend's entertainment. I wonder if there's a turn to the negative on that. It will be interesting to analyze how well it does in big versus small screenage in the same venue.
Yeah, I do agree.
I haven't
yeah,
heard of me before,
absolutely.
but there would be that kind of put your toe in the water small backlash, but it's certainly possible.
It certainly is possible, for sure. I was just informed recently that there are many theaters across the nation investing more into bringing premium large format screens to a theater near you.
Right. Well, that's what my article is about. What are they going to do when it's not prime season like now or in the holidays?
Exactly. You make a good point right there. So it's like, what happens? Because I think we're coming up on just about the end of the summer season box office tent poles, right?
The summer sizzle will be fading from the tongues of movie stars with mustaches everywhere.
Yes. Oh boy. Well, that's
gonna have to go back to Listerine, I guess, and scope. The scope of the dilemma is real. Let's put it that way.
And apparently, China is dealing with some of this, as Marvin pointed out in his article right here. He cites Luis Fernando, which I will too. I'm going to go ahead and bring this up.
Was there something in the air that night, Fernando?
Well, he is
I want to know.
He's pretty good. He's a pretty good analyst, I will say. But but as you included right there, he may have his biases. I don't know if it's for the producers or theaters or maybe both.
Mao Yan, huh?
In China's box office reboot, The Fantastic Four almost beats Shazam! Fury of the Gods for the title of lowest opening for a comic book movie locally, with The Fantastic Four First Steps grossing $4.4 million on its 3-day versus Shazam 2 with 4.3, Thunderbolts 5.6, and Wakanda Forever's 6 million.
2. Let's just say, we know Thunderbolts was a dumb dud, and but when you have to compare yourself to Shazam! Fury of the Gods,
I'm telling you, this is why I sent it over to Marvin. I was like, you got to see this. They're comparing it to Shazam 2. I mean, that's no good, Lew. I mean,
Shazam 2, The Wrath of Deng Xiaoping. I don't know. Shazam 2.
Shazam 2. Lew, I mean, we talk about comic book movie fatigue or superhero fatigue here in the States, but maybe it's hit China first. What do you think?
Well, China is having economic problems above and beyond that, and demographic problems. I mentioned to somebody, there was an article last week, maybe the week before, that there have been in the last year 32,000 preschools in China closed. Why? Not enough little kids to go to them. 32,000. The demographics of the Han Chinese are heading to extinction. And that's a real issue for them. I mean, what profiteth a megalomaniacal dictatorship if they have 1 million man army, but they can't recruit 1 million to replace it because there aren't any? Russia's doing the same thing, but they're doing it by actually killing them off in this war with Ukraine. But anyway, let us just say the term paper tiger comes to mind, and it applies to movie box office too. That's a pretty spaceship, though. That's very nice.
It is a nice spaceship. Like, I will say the design of some of the props and
it looks like that shot there. It looks like those sets they used to give bands like the Beatles on Ed Sullivan.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's what they were trying to emulate.
Ringo sitting behind them at the Ludwig drum set, and I want to hold your ticket.
Yeah. Well, they have this. I guess it's Ted Gilman or whatever. This late night hosts this event right here that you're actually seeing. This is the flip side of that. So yeah, I think they were actually going for kind of an Ed Sullivan type thing that would be prominent like in the 60s.
It makes you wonder, however, when I understand, I haven't seen the movie, so I can't personally comment to its quality or lack thereof. But I can guess. But the whole plot of the movie is she's pregnant, right?
Yes, yeah, and she
so
has
it's like
the baby
4 years ago when we came back from that spaceship and found that we were all strange. When we had to come up with a name for ourselves, we automatically assumed sexual abstinence, because if we'd done otherwise, we would have said, "Let's not make a number; it might change." And then make the whole symbol the number. I don't know. Stanley didn't think it through, I think, way back then.
That's a good point right there. They did actually talk about that. There's a moment at the very end of the film after the baby has been born and shown to have maybe superhuman abilities.
It just occurred to me. There are going to be a lot of younger viewers who never read the comics, who never knew the story. We're going to say, "Oh, it's a ripoff of The Incredibles." Right.
Yes, yeah, that's very true.
Paint them red instead of blue, and it's Jack.
And as we know, The Incredibles were definitely heavily inspired by Fantastic Four and all of that. They do address the Fantastic Five issue in that scene. They have a little 5 on the onesie there, and it's like, too soon. But
it's like the Firehouse 5+1 at Disneyland, right? The Fantastic Four plus 1.
Yes,
I just
indeed.
hope
right?
the kid doesn't grow up to look like, what's his name? The funny-looking guy who was one of the 9 old men.
Ward Kimball?
Yes, that's right. You see, you knew who I meant instantly from that description. And that's sad,
of
too.
Course.
Yancey
it is,
Street.
Actually.
Yancey Street.
There was 9 of them, and we only remember 4 or whatever. But yes, it was very interesting seeing this in the theater and seeing this movie, because I kind of thought like you, Lou, it's like, if you're not super familiar with these comics, is the film successful? And they saved the police
uniforms from Godfather for these guys to wear, right? With the long coats?
yeah, exactly. Well, it's supposed to be kind of a throwback 1960s-esque kind of futuristic alternative world or Earth.
Well,
you
know that because the men are all wearing hats, right?
yes, that's true. And I will say the setting I thought was the most successful part of this picture. I think there were
that
some
part
story
looks
issues.
like fun to me, but
Yeah. And we'll be talking about, actually, on 2-3PO Live on Tuesday, we'll be talking about like the integration of Tomorrowland elements in the Fantastic Four. In fact, there is one blatant call out to that, the Nation of on Wheels suite. You can actually find that in the description underneath Lew's amazing jukebox for the week, which we'll be getting to in just a second. But the Nation on Wheels, that song, actually plays in this film. And it's a great call out pretty early in the montage right there, setting up the characters and so forth. They do take a lot of inspiration from John Hench's kind of 1960s version of Tomorrowland, which I thought was cool. It was very good. But I thought the story...
Well, it's analogous to the World's Fair aspects in Iron Man,
yes,
right?
Absolutely. Yep. A lot of World's Fair influence, a lot of... like 71 Magic Kingdom Tomorrowland, 67 Tomorrowland at Disneyland, and so I like incorporating those elements. I think that was like the most successful part of this whole thing. But I thought the story maybe a little bit too big for the characters featured here, and so you have a lot of like contrivances in order to accommodate for this larger than life story. I thought if the villain was maybe smaller scale and maybe more in tune with the power set provided for these particular characters.
That's interesting. When you say a villain that was smaller scale, you mean then Galactus. Well,
Yes,
the issue is, what do you do for an encore? Because nothing's bigger.
Exactly. Yeah. And they have him actually fairly small from what I've heard from comic book fans. But it's just even at that scale, maybe a little bit too big.
That previous shot of the two of them in their 60s glory. The caption should be, "Peepaw, I'm worried about the beaver." Leave it to Beaver.
Yes. Yeah. Okay.
Your mind went in the gutter, but I wasn't there.
It did not. I thought you were talking about hoppers for a second, and I was just trying to keep up
hoppers.
With you. Yeah, not good.
Have you seen the trailer? Have you seen the first look?
I have. Yeah,
Does that look awful or what?
Yeah,
my God! I mean, it reeks of mediocrity, to say the least.
Yes, I can't believe it's the same studio as Finding Nemo or the original Toy Story.
Well, of course, the answer is it is no longer the same studio.
Right. So, it's profound what Lew just said when you see that trailer.
Only that. I don't always. Everything I say isn't. Oh, gee.
Everything you say is profound.
Oh, well, see,
Lew.
All right, and don't you forget it, Bucky.
I'm just trying to highlight the fact that when you say, "Hey, it's no longer Pixar," you really do see it in that trailer right there, and it's really startling. But
the standard practice, of course, since movies began, is from the studio that brought you. That's not necessarily a thing to remind people of anymore, is it?
Yes, I very much agree with you, Lew. Not something you should remind people of, especially, and they didn't for stuff like Turning Red and LEO and a couple of others that they've recently been showcasing there. They talked about Inside Out 2 and what all of the Toy Stories, I guess, is what they featured there. But this is the same studio as Ratatouille and everything else. Hoppers they just go off the rails there. But
I can just see her writing her story for money in the National Enquirer, and the headline is, "I married a Chilean commie." Anyway.
Yeah. But Sue Storm, definitely she's like, oh man, she is the most capable of all of them by far.
Isn't that scary?
Right there, and they highlight it multiple times. And I'm not just talking about her powers. I'm talking about how they actually characterize her role in the film, and also her power set right there. And to minor spoilers, folks, but Sue Storm's the one to use her abilities and powers to thrust Galactus into a wormhole, I believe, in the middle of the city right there, and remove that threat. It's just
spoiler alert.
Well, I said spoilers.
He's eating Lucky Charms. Did you
Yes,
see?
yes. Lucky Charms,
With the old
indeed.
General Mills giant G. Oh, God.
There's a lot of callbacks, a lot of throwbacks.
And if
and
you
this
were,
is
look, if you, I know, all right. So assuming that to finance some of Reed's less commercial experiments, they're selling merch. Would you wear your own T-shirt if you were a member of a superhero group that he's wearing a Fantastic Four T-shirt?
it's a lot of branded stuff.
Johnny?
And it's a lot of branded stuff, but like distractingly so. They actually show a close up when they're in their spacesuits and they're on a different planet. They actually show the footprints that they leave behind, and it's like got the Fantastic Four logo in there, and it's like, come on, guys, like this is ridiculous. Like you don't have to go this far. But anyway,
that shot right there. I happened to watch again. What the heck is it called? The movie about the black ladies or the quote unquote computers at NASA.
Yes,
that's exactly the same damn set where Kevin Costner's office is in the back in that alcove, and they're all out there in the bullpen, adding and subtracting.
It probably is.
It looks like it. It's
I wouldn't be surprised. I do find it funny that like every single side character is, either a person of color or a woman or somebody else, because I think it's like, oh well, we have 4 white people as the main cast of this movie. Everybody else must be representing a different gender or whatever.
I see in the chat they're talking about hats and whether they were put out of business by the use of the motor car, and therefore you didn't need the shade, I guess. And Jan Monroe is saying that we would have less skin cancer if we'd have kept the hats. On the other hand, Jan, you'd have less baldness too, or more baldness, because I know everybody I know that has to wear a hat for their job has premature follicular demise. So there you go.
There you go. The first half of this movie much better than the second half. I think it suffers from the alternative or the exact opposite of like Thunderbolts or whatever.
You know what that reminds me of? I've mentioned it before, but there was this guy who wrote movie reviews for Los Angeles Magazine named Bert Piletsky, who was a wonderful writer. And they were great reviews. I mean, he was one of the very best. But when it came to the movie Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, he literally wrote a 1-sentence review. And the review was, this movie starts off with a bang, but winds up chitty. And that was it. So when you said the first half is better than the second half, I thought, well, we could say that really compactly too.
It is. Oh my goodness. It's so frustrating sometimes when you see these films and it's like, wow, this really was setting up to be something kind of truly special, and then it kind of just drops the ball. I'd say as soon as they get back from Earth that first time, just they kind of rush through it, and you can see that there wasn't the polish that I think you would be expecting for a $200 million movie right here. I guess that brings us to
200, 350.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, it's probably 250. But this brings us to our next story here.
Oh, good.
I desperately want to get your opinions on this.
Any other story will do.
So,
something we could do a whole story, an expose on the dancing okra in the Tiana ride. It'd be better. Than this. So
our next Hollywood Backlot with Lew and you dancing okra. So I thought this was super, super funny. This from That Park Place right here. Rebecca, is it Romaine? I believe it's Romaine. Reveals Avengers Doomsday script not done 3 months into filming despite Kevin Feige's claims. What claims were those? This is by Marvin Montedero, July 27, 2025. If we scroll down right here, we see Kevin Feige stated, we've never started a movie without a full script.
Never even start without a script. That's
ever.
I wonder what they reshoot for. That means it's all about performances? And you couldn't have said, let's take another take while everybody was still there with the set built?
Right. It's like, okay, wait a minute. Like, go ahead.
Who does he think he's kidding?
Well, yeah. I cannot believe he would say that. Even, I think Variety, who took the interview, was
good news, bad news. They've never started without a full script, and I've never been satisfied with the script we've had. Well, it's full. It stinks, but it's full.
Yes, it's full. It's full. Well,
then now he's stolen the plussing line from Walt, huh?
Yes, yeah. Well, Kevin Feige's a big Walt fan. He's a big Disney Parks fan, as we'll find
they
out.
They know these characters so well. If they have an idea, you want to listen to it, and you want to adjust it, and you want to improve it, but you want to do it on the set the first time, Kevin. That's the only little timing issue with what you're saying.
Yes, not in the reshoot portion.
Well, or the second reshoot, or the third reshoot, or the 4 months later reshoot, which is all free, right? It doesn't cost anything to do that. Oh, well, you know.
Well, that's the shot. Let's listen to the chaser right here. This is from San Diego Comic-Con, which is actually in progress, if I'm not mistaken. This whole week right here.
Totally side question. Do you think RDJ is suddenly realizing green is not his color?
Maybe, possibly. He apparently he is featured as Dr. Doom in that that post-credits trailer right there. Although you don't see his face, but they're adamant that it's Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah.
Anywho,
he said, "I want the same deal people I got for Mandalorian, where I can dub all the lines later and you can schlub in a suit."
That's a really that's a good point there, Lou.
But in return, he will put his face out to promote movies that he's not in, like this one, right?
Yeah, maybe. I guess it's possible.
I am so pissed off at these people, I can't begin to tell you. Because the other night I decided, okay, the first 2 eps are up, if you don't mind my switching to Star Trek land.
Please.
I'll go ahead and watch it. And the first one, which was the conclusion cliffhanger, whatever, about the Gorn, was so good. I mean, it really, really, really showed that when they put their mind to doing a serious bells and whistles effects and bombs, and it was really good. And then the second one, they couldn't stop dancing with a ripoff of Trelane and the implication that Q is Trelane's father. And, oh, God, and they're all dancing the tango, and it's going, you people, if they were doing it on a balcony in London, you might have bought it for the audience outside the theater. But
yikes.
I haven't the third one's up now, and I haven't even brought myself. I thought about it, and I thought, I don't think I want to subject myself to that. And I'm told I'm doing the wise thing, but and some of these people are really good, really, really good. Yeah, and it's like
they're let down by the material that they're forced to embody right there. So Rebecca, she obviously played Mystique in the original 2000s era of X-Men films. She is coming back for Avengers Doomsday. And while doing, I guess, press for a Star Trek project, she was actually asked about Doomsday. And so remember, Kevin Feige says, we don't start without a full script. Well, Rebecca has something to say about that.
I think probably just came back from the set of Doomsday.
Yes.
Are you done shooting your scenes?
Not quite sure. Not quite sure. The script they haven't finished writing it.
They haven't finished writing it. What? But Lou,
she's saying Kevin don't invest in any blue paint right now.
But Kevin Feige told me, Lou, that they don't start filming without a full script.
But he also told you that the reason why they would change it is because the actors know their characters so well that they'd have a lot to say. And obviously they never asked her about the Blue Lady because she doesn't know.
Yeah, that's a fair point right there.
Especially for that part. Do you suppose she's sitting around going, I wish they'd make up their damn mind so I could have a piece of pie.
Yes, that's true.
I could take a month off and do some eclairs and some butterbrickle ice cream or something, because she's got to stay so in shape to get into that role. I mean, not that she isn't a lovely lady anyway, but it's like, I don't know.
There is no hiding behind any costume. I mean, you have to be.
Oh God, the makeup they do on Nurse Chapel there in this second episode of the new season. Mm-hmm. Little green jewels stuck to her eyelids and her chin and it's like, Yeah, because we all have time on a starship in between saving the world and taking care of patients who rely on us to survive, to spend about 6 hours in a makeup chair getting painted with jewels.
Yeah. Well,
Or am I being too logical? You folks
No.
out there, you decide. Am I being too practical to think that maybe
no. Well, look,
that's
this is
stuff?
this is a side of the. I mean, this is what Hollywood Backlot's all about. This side of kind of movie making that doesn't get a lot of press is that Rebecca has to be retained.
It's just like every time we ask a question about any of this stuff, it all boils down to me sitting here saying, "Excuse me, but what does God need with a starship?"
Yes, well, that's true. But Rebecca has to be retained in order to embody Mystique for future performances.
Literally.
Literally in Doomsday, right? So it's like, okay, well, she marks out on her calendar, let's say a couple weeks for filming for her initial scenes, and now it's like, what, we're on hold for in memoriam, or I should say infinitum, because I mean, Marvel doesn't
and not
have
for free,
stuff together.
by the way.
Yes,
actors get paid to be on hold like that. They don't
yes,
sit around home
absolutely.
twiddling their thumbs and collecting stamps,
Which increases these production budgets, Lew.
You bet. Exactly. And that's my point, is that all of those numbers are nowhere in the subsidy qualification things that people use to project how much it really costs to make the movie. They're
Right.
not in that, because that's not having to do with local employment, and therefore it doesn't count.
Correct. I mean, it's not reflected in those tax filings in the UK, for example, and it's certainly not.
Or in Georgia or California, even, it's not reflected. So
Right. Or the reported budgets that we see these other outlets talk about when talking about these films. It's just, they're simply not accounted for most often when you see these reported budgets, which is why we call them reported and not actual. So I don't know. It's just the disorganization of Marvel. I understand they have, spanning universes, they have multiple projects, they have multiple actors and stuff like that, and so things change. I get that. I understand that. But at the same time, are you inflating these budgets? Are you keeping these films high in terms of the production costs because of your disorganization, rather than actually, spending all of that money on the films themselves? I mean, the final act of Fantastic Four, I think, suffers from this, in that you can tell that they all made alterations late in the game, because some of the effects work just is not on par with what we had just seen prior.
Well, to be fair, we don't know for sure that what they changed was all in the end. It could have been that at the end they suddenly realized, wait, we need something to set that up, and shot something from the beginning.
Yeah,
so,
that's true.
I don't know. Anyway.
Well, Kevin Feige was responding to, I think, a question about, it was like James Gunn, and how James Gunn said he won't approve a film unless it has a final script. And so Kevin Feige, I think, to match that or whatever, was saying, "Oh, we don't approve anything unless it has a full script."
When people postulated that it would take $700 million to break even, it won't be that much. And it's looking like exactly that much now.
It's looking like exactly that much, yeah. Which is ironic. So, you do have some gamesmanship, let's say, played by these big executives in charge of these big franchises.
By the way, if you say it isn't 700, you're not saying it isn't 800. In other words, when you say that's not the right number, it doesn't mean the right number is less. It could be more. Mm-hmm. So anyway.
Well, of course.
The reason why they don't care, they just don't care.
Well, I would argue that James Gunn saying it's not 700 to prove that, I would say it's much harder than to prove or disprove that than like Rebecca Romijn, one of your stars, saying, yeah, they haven't finished a script, even though you said that they don't approve things without a full script. That one, I think, is...
It's a full script. It's just not the one they're going to use.
If it is, yeah, then it's not the one they're going to use.
We got a full script. Would you like a copy? We'll sell it to you for $17.95. For another $20, you can have a fruit and neutral grain alcohol drink to go with it that we'll name something in your honor.
That's a good point. That's a good point right there. Well, Well, I guess that brings us on to a project that is filming. I'm pretty sure with a full script, although there could be some late in the game changes with this
one.
one.
The term full script in our discussion is rapidly becoming the equivalent of he's not playing with a full deck.
Yes, well,
Yeah,
that's true. That's a good point right there. Well, Theme Park Wizard actually found a filming notice right here, this dated July 24, 2025, to Universal City Neighbors. Beginning July 30th through August 1st from 6 a.m. to 8 p.m., the following Backlot production activities are planned. Production lights, production vehicles, production noise, atmospheric smoke, large wind machines. Hours are subject to change quickly based on production needs. We will make our best efforts to try to minimize noise as much as possible. We apologize for the inconvenience. This is for the neighbors directly around the Universal Studios.
Yeah, who are the equivalent
Hollywood.
of the people who moved in under the approach path to LAX and then complained about the airline noise.
Yeah, yes, exactly.
I mean, really,
I
have told
big
the story
problems.
before that there was a time when there was other disturbance happening to people up there on the rim above Universal, which is that their garage door openers kept opening and closing because of signals coming from radios on the lot. And they brought out the FCC and they did a frequency survey, and they found there was over 150 different frequencies being used between shows shooting on stage and the tour and communications for security and one thing or another. And that was a lot. But I remember doing a show, and not there, over at Fox, where we had big trouble because the camera folks, the dollies, they decorated for Christmas. And when they did so, they had tinsel on the cameras right next to the antenna that were sending the video feed stuff back to the control, and it wasn't getting through because, tinsel is known in military terms as chaff. When you see these things about electronic countermeasures, or whether it's a submarine or an airplane, that's what they're sending, is a bunch of stuff spinning rapidly and sending off oddball signals so you don't know where they are. So we could have anyway, the neighbors.
The neighbors. So around Universal Studios Hollywood, there's a series of houses, right, that live, almost right up to the property line of Universal Studios Hollywood right there. And so they have to make accommodations all the time in order to accommodate for late filming. Well, what are they filming, Lew? It appears that they are filming, finally, the Odyssey. In Falls Lake right there. You can see this video from Universal Apex right here, looking at Falls Lake, that area just beyond the Fast and Furious Supercharged, sound stages and so forth. There on the Backlot tour there. This is very exciting, Lew, because I've not seen full production utilize or a full production in process actually for Falls Lake, and this might actually be the last, depending on what Universal Hollywood wants to actually do with its Backlot space, and as it dedicates portions of it to more theme park space. Lew, your reaction to the Odyssey filming?
I see they're already selling tickets to it a year in advance of the release, and
yes,
and you have to remember one of the reasons perhaps why they're thinking about destroying Falls Lake is that they don't need it anymore because everything's CGI, except for Christopher Nolan, who, God bless him, insists on actually shooting for real. Of course, we all know how the real Vikings had those little steps to get on and off the boat, but I'll take that away before they're actually shooting.
Well, you got to get the actors up safely. But hey,
didn't Odysseus's boat have a figurehead that actually had a face that talked to him that looked backwards, that front figurehead? So I don't know how they'll do that without CGI, but I guess it's possible. That's going to be interesting to see how they do that with that effects work right there. I mean, there have historically been digital effects used in Christopher Nolan productions, obviously, but it's very minimal, and we know that this is the first production ever to use IMAX cameras throughout. Is he will use less than George Pal did doing stop motion animation with this stuff way back in the day, you know. So,
Yes,
it's been
yes.
drained a little bit, but
Yeah, this is right before it was actually filled, so you kind of see the.
well, they fill it and remove it and fill it and remove it, and that's
Right,
and
right,
if you look over there in the wide shot, go back to the head of it and freeze it if you can, or can you?
Yep. Go ahead.
I was going to actually go a little further because it swivels to the left a little before it.
Okay.
Maybe it's later in.
Yeah.
Anyway, all I was going to say was you can see Warner Brothers and Disney out there in the background to give people a sense of perspective.
Right.
Those stages on the left. In fact, right there, right along that street is where you saw the guys in Blazing Saddles come riding out the front gate, which is literally across the street from the back gate of Universal down there.
That's so crazy.
And then beyond that, where you see another group of white buildings out there, that's Disney. So all just one big happy San Fernando Valley family. What can I say?
Indeed.
It's only 3, not 4, so they can't use the number. But anyway.
While Universal Apex was actually on the tour, he actually found the staging of vehicles and so forth. Let me see if I can get this back. Yep, there you go, right there. A lot of vehicles that he was able to see here in order to assist with this production. You can see they have filled in Falls Lake. A lot of Backlot equipment, as one could probably expect for a production of
for
the
those who
size of
haven't
Nolan.
gotten the joke, which has been the joke since they built it 1,000,000 years ago, if you could sing in a falsetto voice, you could wear a false set of teeth. Hence, false, like it's not real.
Yes, it's not real. It's where movie magic happens to make it real. But this, from what we are understanding, this is a pretty big production right here, and to utilize Falls Lake for this is actually pretty cool. And the film comes out in a year, and all of those year advance showings are basically sold out at this point. A lot of anticipation for this production right here from Christopher Nolan, and being produced by Universal, as he did depart from Warner Brothers, famously enough. So there you go. I thought this was pretty cool, Lew.
Yeah.
A little bit of Backlot magic. All right. I do believe, let's see, do we have time for one more story? One more something or another.
We jukebox it first?
Oh, yes, we should absolutely jukebox it first.
Because it's a very special jukebox this time. Well, not that they aren't all special in their way. We lost a great one this past week. We lost Chuck Mangione, who was such a wonderful musician and known, of course, for his jazz stuff and his big hit, Feels So Good and Bella Via and great flugel hornage. And his brother Gap was a wonderful piano player too, had his own group. But what happens when you hire a jazz quartet musician to do a movie? Well, this is not totally a new concept. Duke Ellington did movies, Oscar Peterson did movie scores, but there was a movie called The Children of Sanchez, starring Anthony Quinn. And if you see this live at the Hollywood Bowl, well, I was there. And I know it seems like I'm the Zelig of everything that ever happened, but this is true. And what was interesting about it was, I don't know how many people, this is where you do your Google Earth thing at the Hollywood Bowl, by the way. I had an uncle who really liked to get married. He didn't like being married so much. That's why at his 4th and final wedding, several weeks before this, I was there and people said, "What are you doing this week?" And I said, "Well, Monday I'm going to the box office at the Hollywood Bowl when they open because I want to get tickets for this special concert they were doing." Nobody knew what the movie was about and nobody had heard the music. This was about 6 months before the opening of the actual feature film. But Mangione did a special live concert to be recorded live, as you see for the record, you can still get it, where the first half was he and his quartet and a few extras doing all of his big hits. But then after intermission, they brought in a 75-piece, zoom right down to the edge of the stage if you can, a 75-piece orchestra, and played the, until then unheard by anybody outside of the studio, score to The Children of Sanchez. And when I told people at the wedding, you see the box seats right up there at the front? That That's how the bowl is. There used to be a fountain up there that they turned into kind of an orchestra pit, but now it's all seats because they pay better. Those boxes are all 4 and 6 people. And I had people at the wedding say, oh, here's some money, get me a couple, or get me 4, or get me. We wound up with 6 boxes of, I think 2 of them were the 6-person boxes and the others were the 4s. Anyway, we had like 15 people there. All of us brought wine and food and carried on and got to see that show. And it was pretty damned amazing. And you can hear the theme song from the Children of Sanchez as recorded live for an audience that included yours truly as our special jukebox pick of the week. And see what happens when a jazz horn player scores a movie. And there you go. The Children of Sanchez.
That is absolutely fantastic, Lew. That is a fantastic pick right here.
It was. It is a seminal memory in my wild and crazy youth, such as it was.
We've lost so many great performers and so many great talents.
And by the way, for those who don't know, can you go back to the aerial again?
Yes, yes, absolutely.
Those who don't know, everybody thinks the bowl is the band shell. It's not. The Hollywood Bowl, which was there long before the actual band shell was built, and as you can see, elaborated on now, it's much more complex now than it was then. The bowl is where the seats are. It's the natural depression in the ground with the gradual slope. And they used to do like Easter sunrise up there and all kinds of things before there was ever a band shell or any further enhancements like those lighting towers. And see that place, the Backyard Grill over there on the right? God, we had dinner there the last time I went there with my wonderful wife, Kathy. Oh, was that good? But of course, the guy who ran, I think still does, all of the food service at the Bowl, which includes several other restaurants and a place where you can pick up and pre-order a picnic basket to take to your seat, is Joachim Splichal, he of all of those restaurants at Disney, the Patina Group. Okay. They, as far as I know, I don't know if they still do, but they had for many years the franchise, so to speak, to run the food service at the Bowl. So we didn't have popcorn buckets in those days, but they did have popcorn. And used to go up there a lot. I had season tickets for a couple of series up there, and it was a lot of fun. Still is. I have friends who go now, and they still have a fun time. But anyway, yeah.
Well, that is absolutely
so.
fantastic.
The Children of Sanchez theme song, and of course, it was a whole score. But the clip that is the main theme, which has this powerful percussion and powerful horn beat, you'll hear if you click on the link. And
click on the link, indeed. It is in the chat, by the way, as well as the description. You were going to say, Lew? Sorry.
Yeah.
Well, we have lost a lot, and
he was a truly special talent, and like I say, his brother Gap was really good too. We saw him at a lot of clubs around town.
That's cool. That's cool. Well, take in the amazing musical notes and performances of some of our
and speaking of all of those people with houses up above the Universal lot, it's funny how the ones overlooking the Bowl don't complain about the noise.
Isn't that interesting?
Because they get free concerts all year long.
Yeah, they sure do, don't they? They sure do. Hollywood, very interesting place.
And if you want the full
Indeed.
6 degrees of separation, across the way, you see that thing that says the Ford? That's the Ensign Ford Theater, which is an outdoor drama playhouse that originally was Will Geer Theatricum Botanicum, it was called. And Will Geer, you will know as Grandpa Walton, but he is also the evil genius star of a movie that the Genre Guys just did called Seconds. That is one of the scariest movies you'll ever see in your life. And it is not one of these jump out and yell boo, Saw, and, Five Nights at Freddy's kinds of movies. But boy, is it scary, with Rock Hudson, no less. Anyway, there you go. That everything ties together.
Oh, perfect. Do you have anything else coming up on the genre?
Well, we
guys,
also just did one of my favorite movies I mentioned before, Digstown, which is a boxing con man movie. And when I tell you that the quote unquote good guy is James Woods and the quote unquote bad guy is Bruce Dern, and that Lou Gossett is in it, and Oliver Platt, and Heather Graham, you got to know it's good. And James Newton Howard did the music too. And it's a wonderful movie. And then our next two, talk about a variety of things. I'm mentioning them in twos because we used to record every week and do one, and we've gone to a 2 every other week schedule because Hangry's been a little busy with things in his life, and we brought in Martin Stone a couple of times and Nolan Thunder, and we're in talks to have a genre gal from among our many cast members of great people. But we're going to do Darkest Hour, which was Gary Oldman playing Winston Churchill. Is there anything that guy can't do?
Oh, I believe.
I mean, compare that to the character he plays in Multipass, Fifth Element, or compare that to it. Just and the other movie we're going to do. We've done one that I suggested, showed you what a really good serious actor he was, which was Airport, which was Dean Martin. But now we're going to do his spy spoofs, the Matt Helm movies with The Silencers, which is the first one. They did 4. And so Matt Helm to Winston Churchill all in one span of a week. That's the genre guys, which is Lorne and myself and Hangry usually, and then sometimes other people. So there you go. And that's the one where Stella Stevens and Sid Charisse and Victor Buono and all kinds of good people are in that movie. And Matt Helm shoots the works. Yeah, sure.
It's kind of interesting because we just had a question about these specific series of films.
Really?
My goodness. It was submitted to the email that we have right here, t3ponline@yahoo.com. If you want to go ahead and email us, we're doing a show right after this one. Actually, is when we're going to record it,
and we're doing
all
it.
About.
We're always live every week, right? Mm-hmm. Well, there's a week coming up where I'm going to be on the road, so we're going to record a special show of nothing but your questions. And since we're about to do it as soon as we finish here, it's too late. But we'll use your questions in future shows, so still send them in by all means.
Please do. We're going to also have a jukebox selection that week as well. Maybe a couple other things around the show.
That's an interesting jukebox selection because I forgot we needed one and literally just picked it a few moments before we began. And would you believe it's a sing-along?
Ooh.
And it's a song you may want to sing along with when you play the clip, so be mystified until we reveal it. But
Indeed. Yeah, definitely subscribe to this channel, by the way, if you haven't subscribed yet. That way you're notified as soon as it goes up right there.
With notifications and all that other fun stuff you get on YouTube, right?
Yeah.
I see somebody is talking about, that's a wonderful movie. I agree. My Favorite Year with Peter O'Toole and Mark Lynn Baker. And
it's so interesting how we got a question about this. The questions of got some age on it, but hey, never too late for great genre guys content and great content talking about the movies that we love. Well, I do appreciate Lew coming on and doing an amazing show for us, and also too the next show that we'll be recording just after this one.
One more issue, or are we going to skip it till next time? Whatever the other, you said you had one more story, and that's when I jumped in with.
Oh yeah. Well, no. We'll go ahead and we'll save it, and if we have any time in the next show, then I do want to proffer some questions to you, Lew. Okay. And I think that's a great way to incorporate some of these other stories is through questions. So I'll go ahead and save it, and that way we have
always leave them wanting more.
Absolutely.
Something that people who made Superman and Fantastic Four should have thought of someday.
Yes.
But,
I agree.
I love. Did you see, just to put a cap on Peepaw for the day, please, God, maybe for a week. that he was asked about shaving his facial hair to do Reed Richards. And he said when he saw how he looked in Wonder Woman 2, he decided he never wanted to look that bad again. And I thought, couldn't have been that the movie sucked, could it? Couldn't possibly have been that the character you played was such an absolute nothing. No, it was all about the mustache, right?
Yes.
Okay, fine.
Yes. We actually have a article on that Park Place all about the facial hair Pedro Pascal moment right there. So definitely check out that Park Place as well, where we keep you up with entertainment stories as well. Anyways,
yeah, two up there in the last week. One of which they put under the VIP category, so you have to pay for that a little bit. But what the heck, it's worth it. It's worth it. What else are you going to do with it? Buy a popcorn bucket?
What are you going to do?
You could buy popcorn buckets for the cost of being a member of these channels and helping us out. So,
yeah. Oh, much less than that Galactus popcorn bucket at like what, $80 or something like that? Crazy. Anywho,
I will destroy your entire world, but I'm keeping the popcorn.
But I'm keeping the popcorn. Yeah, I saw somebody actually have it. And I went. So it's large. I just don't know what you're going to do with it after the film.
Yes.
Anywho's, that just about concludes our show. We will see you here. I believe the next show is going to be live, Lew, and then the next show is going to be okay.
2 weeks from now for the special pre-recorded content. But
well, that's awesome stuff right there. So
yes.
Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you hit subscribe. That way you get notified when we go live and when we have episodes drop of Hollywood Backlot with Lew and you. We will see you here next week. Same bat time, same bat channel. Make sure you submit your questions at T3PO online at yahoo.com. That's right there. And T3PO live on this channel at 3 p.m. Eastern, right after the pro show. Thank you so much. We will see you here next week.